You may remember when we were looking at signals and the kind of concurrency that comes from signals, there was an issue with error no. Suppose, for example, we have a thread that's running open and then it gets an error and it needs to look at error no. Meanwhile, another thread is using connect, and maybe it also gets an error no. What if these errors happen at the same time? Is this error no going to end up being the value from this connect from the other thread? If so, that would be a problem, and there would be no way to save and restore error no here because it's not like a signal handler where we know it returns before the main thread can continue. Fortunately, the answer is no. These error numbers will not get mixed up, and that's because error no is implemented in a particular way that makes it thread local. So that's good news. You don't have to worry about the interaction of threads and error no. And generally speaking, the standard library helps you not worry too much about threads when you call the functions. For example, as we've seen many times, you can call malloc on one thread and then free that same memory in some other thread. You know from implementing your own allocator that there are some data structures inside malloc and free. It has to synchronize them, but that's the problem of malloc and free and not yours. Similarly, read on the same file descriptor works just fine. Fread on the same file handle. It's made thread safe so that each bit of information goes to one thread or the other. And getOutterInfo. As long as you're filling in different records, you can call getOutterInfo at the same time on as many threads as you want, and whatever it does internally is synchronized. There are a few exceptions. For example, getenv turns out not to be thread safe. If you're using getenv in one thread and setenv in another thread, bad things can happen, so don't do that. Also, the reliable I/O interface from CSApp is not thread safe. So if on a particular buffer, you can only use a given buffer in one thread at a time. If you tried to read from the same buffers in different threads, bad things will happen because it's not written to be thread safe. Generally, functions have to be written to be thread safe, or they're not. And whatever libraries you're using, the documentation should tell you whether they're thread safe.